Embarking in your sewing journey, it's such an exciting adventure, but when you are standing in a fabric store, can also be somewhat overwhelming. And because there are so many textures, colors, patterns, they're calling your name. And how do you choose the right fabric for your project? That's one big question when you step your foot into a fabric store. So I put together a fun, practical guide packed with tips to help you assess fabrics like a pro and make some more confident and informed decisions. First, let's talk about drape. How does it fall? The way a fabric hangs, known as it drapes, it's one of the most important factors in determining how your garment would look when worn. And so to assess the drape, generally, I would say pull the bolt out, unroll a few yards of fabric and see how it behaves. Move it around a little bit with your hands and understand whether it has a soft movement, generally, let's say like a silk or a chiffon, or if it has a lot of structure and it looks stiff, it's probably something like maybe like linen or denim. Why does drape matter so much? It's because imagine trying to make a flowy wrap dress with very thick cotton. It would end up looking boxy and very awkward. On the other side, imagine a structured mini skirt made out of silk or maybe chiffon. It would look really out of shape. And so when in doubt, think about the clothes you have in your closet, or maybe when you go at the stores and touch and admire things. What kind of fabrics are used for different silhouettes? Have you ever seen a tailor jacket made out of chiffon? Probably not. So use these clues as a guide when shopping for fabric. A very good tip for you, bring a small project swatch or a reference photo with you. Sometimes seeing how the garment drapes in the picture can also inspire you and help you make the right choice with your fabric. And number 2 on my list, get your color right. Colors and pattern can make or break the overall look of your project, so it's worth taking the time to choose carefully. If you are shopping in store, always bring the fabric into natural light by the window somewhere before purchasing. Artificial lighting, like fluorescent bulbs, can drastically alter the way a fabric looks. I've learned this the hard way. And also, hold the fabric up to your skin to see how the color complements your natural tones. This is especially important if you're making clothes for yourself. Some shades that look stunning on the bold may not be as flattering when worn. And a good tip, keep a small fabric color wheel handy or create a Pinterest board with your favorite colors and tones for quick reference. Another good one is determine the fabric width. It affects how much you need and would avoid you running out of fabric before you finish your project. Fabric comes in different widths, and knowing the width is essential for calculating how much fabric you need. The most common widths are 45 inches and 60 inches. A wider fabric means you may need less yardage, while narrower fabric might require some extra. If you are following a sewing pattern, check the fabric recommendations carefully. Usually, they indicate how much fabric you need based on the width. And if you're buying fabric for a project without having a specific pattern, instead of running out of fabric, maybe just get a little extra to have as backup. A really important one is make sure you understand the stretch of your fabric. Before buying any fabric, give it a little tug to test the stretch. Most fabrics will have some sort of natural give, especially when pulled on a diagonal. In our industry, this is called the bias. However, some fabrics like jersey, lycra are designed to stretch significantly, so then can be trickier to sew because they require special techniques to prevent puckering and warping. So if you are a beginner, consider maybe starting with more stable, non-stretch fabrics like cotton or linen, which are easier to handle right at the beginning. Once you gain more confidence, you can tackle stretch fabrics and experiment as you go with body-hugging silhouettes. A good tip for you, if you are eager to start stretch fabric, use a ballpoint needle and practice with scrap pieces just before diving into your main projects. That would avoid a lot of headache and wasting some good yardage. And lastly, visualize the finished project. See it, imagine it before you sew it. I think one of the best ways to choose the right fabric is obviously use that inspiration that motivated you in the beginning and picture your finished project in your mind. Generally, maybe just, I don't know what helps you. Close your eyes, imagine the garment you create, or look around for inspiration for something that looks similar to kind of help you and guide you pick the right fabric. How does that look in your mind? Is it flowy and romantic? It's crisp and it's tailored. Now think about how the fabric drapes, the weight of the fabric, and of course the color will contribute to that vision. So also consider your body shape and don't forget, always consider your sewing skills. Heavier fabrics like denim and wool are generally a little bit more forgiving for simple structure pieces, while of course, as we discussed already, lightweight fabrics like silk, chiffon may highlight every curve, so require more advanced techniques. One good tip is take a small notebook and a sketch pad to the fabric store and jot down your ideas. Sometimes visual aids can keep you focused and prevent impulse buys and getting a lot of fabrics that you don't need. By taking the time to assess drape, color, stretch, and width, you will set yourself up for sewing success. And remember, there is no right or wrong way when it comes to creativity and learning. So trust your instincts, experiment, and most importantly, enjoy. Learn from your mistakes. I'm pretty sure you've got this. Now, I have a bonus tip for beginner sewists. First of all, start with natural fabrics. Cotton, linen, chambray are great beginners because they aren't slippery and they tend to behave predictably under the needle. Second, wash before you sew. Many fabrics, especially the natural ones, are shrinking after the first wash. And so, to avoid surprises later, pre-wash your fabric and let it dry before cutting. Now, I would also encourage you overbuy when in doubt. If you think your fabric might shrink, or if you are unsure how much you will need, I would say always get a little extra just in case. And so that's it from me today. My top tips for choosing the perfect fabric for your sewing projects. I hope this video gave you the confidence to explore the fabric aisle and make choices that bring your creative visions to life. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. I've got tons more tips, tutorials, and projects idea coming your way. And don't forget to check out the links in the description for my favorite fabric shops, sewing tools, and that video I mentioned to you about the best online fabric sources. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy sewing!